Hey everybody, howdy, happy Monday, hope you had a great weekend. I certainly had a great one. I had 2 gigs, Friday and Saturday, had a great time playing out on both. And I am back here now. I'm making a part 2, that's what this is. Part 2 of a video, I think it was just last week when I made the first one. It was called, You Won't Believe Which Guitarist Played on These Famous Songs. I'm not going to give away any of them right now, you can just look for the link below. But a lot of people seem to like it, and I actually learned a lot just in the comment section. Some people told me some other instances of where famous guitar players played on other rock, pop, famous musicians' tracks as well. And I, as I expressed in the first one, think that's very interesting and very cool. So, thanks to some of the people coming up here that gave me the ideas for today's video. And on top of that, I even had plenty left over on the cutting room floor from the first video. So that's what this is. And let's just go ahead and get started right away. So as before, I will give some clues and see if you can guess which guitarist we are talking about that played on these tracks for artists that were not their own band. So let me know in the comments how you scored. And let me know also if you have any other guitarists that I didn't mention in either 1 or 2 that played on someone else's album. All right, our first special guitarist here that we're going to talk about, he is definitely one of the greatest guitar players of all time. The track that we'll especially talk about is this guy played a lot of the guitar parts and especially the slide on Blaze of Glory, Jon Bon Jovi's track from Young Guns 2, from the movie Young Guns 2. Here are some clues. Number 1, he is sadly deceased. Unfortunately, one of those guys who is no longer with us. Clue number 2, nobody else plays like him. And I think if you were to ask almost any guitarist, it doesn't matter how good they are. It could be Steve Vai, it could be anybody. They're all going to be like, crap, don't ask me to do that. That's too intimidating, trying to replicate this guy. I don't know, maybe Guthrie Govan could do it, probably. I don't know. But yeah, he is one of the most uncopyable guys out there. I will just quickly say, I saw a live video of him playing once, and something he was doing with the whammy bar, I don't know, just him being him, something sounded dead on like a saxophone, and he was not using a guitar synth. That just has always stuck with me. I would like to find that video, whatever it was. That just absolutely blew my mind. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, please comment and just say you've heard that as well. He actually made it sound like a saxophone. I was just stunned. I could not believe it. I've heard nobody do that before. So, clue number 3, it is not Allan Holdsworth. I know all the clues I just mentioned, like being uncopyable and one of the greatest ever, being deceased, that could certainly qualify for Allan Holdsworth as well. But that is not who we're talking about here. Oh, because I did say Young Guns, didn't I? And Allan's not really known for playing the slide guitar, is he? So, last clue, this should give it away. He does not use a guitar pick. I'll make it even easier. We're not talking about Richie Kotzen. We're not talking about Mark Knopfler. And we're not talking about Brett Garson. All right, I think that's more than enough hints. Answer coming up in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Jeff Beck. That's who. The amazing, incredible Jeff Beck. So, yeah, he played on the Young Guns 2 on the Jon Bon Jovi tune, Blaze of Glory. And he actually played lead guitar on several tracks there, apart from Blaze of Glory. Also, Billy, Get Your Guns, Justice in the Barrel. So there's several there. Apparently, Beck's style was exactly what Jon Bon Jovi wanted, that gritty, dirty kind of sound to just make that track truly stand out. So I looked up some other stuff that he's done as well, for other musicians, and here's what some of it is. Stevie Wonder on the album Talking Book from 1972. He played on the track Looking for Another Pure Love. Rod Stewart, 1984 Camouflage album. He played guitar on several tracks, including Infatuation and Bad For You. Apparently they were longtime friends, Jeff Beck and Rod Stewart. Tina Turner, I'm starting to realize she's had all kinds of guests on her albums. In fact, I'm going to do another video soon I'm going to talk about a song that was apparently written for her, but it went to another band who's one of my favorites. That is coming up in another video. So anyway, Tina Turner, 1989, had the album For an Affair, and on the track called Steel Claw, Jeff Beck played. And apparently Robert Cray recorded this earlier, but Jeff Beck performed it live and in studio versions. A few more. Mick Jagger, She's the Boss. He played on a few tracks, including Lonely at the Top. Kate Bush, The Red Shoes, 1993 album. He played on a track called You're the One. Cyndi Lauper, who we talked about in my last video on all this. Actually, it was in my Rick Derringer video, wasn't it? On the album The Body Acoustic from 2005. Beck played on Above the Clouds. Jeff Beck, not Beck, the loser guy. Not him. Okay, and then the last one we'll talk about with Jeff Beck, although there is more, is Roger Waters' Amused to Death 1992 album. He played quite a lot on this album, and especially on a track called What God Wants. So that wraps up our Jeff Beck section for the day. All right, moving on to the next guitarist we're going to talk about. This guy is every bit as iconic as Jeff Beck. Probably a bit better known, to be honest, amongst non-musicians. More people are going to know this guy than Jeff Beck, I'm pretty sure. Oh, by the way, I got the idea for this particular guitar player that we're about to talk about from a user called Chromeboy1. So thank you, sir. And yes, Chromeboy, I saw your comment that you corrected. You initially had, you thought it was on a certain track, and you corrected and said, nope, I was wrong. But you were actually right, though, because he did work with this, he did actually work with Kate Bush, which is who we're going to talk about here for a minute. Chromeboy thought that this particular guitarist played on the track Running Up That Hill, which was made really popular, again, of course, from Stranger Things. And yeah, he did not play lead guitar on that, but he definitely had a lot to do with Kate Bush. In fact, he played guitar and produced, co-produced, I should say, tracks on her debut album, The Kick Inside, from 1978. He kind of helped discover her as well. I mean, that's what my research tells me. So, what else can we say about this guy? Oh, he played on tracks for other artists like Dream Academy, Life in a Northern Town. God, I love that song. If you guys, some of you might not realize what that song is until you check it out. But yeah, there was a big country cover a few years back with, God, what's the band that does Pontoon? Jesus, I hate it when I can't think of something. Lots of country artists were in on it, though. They did a beautiful cover of Life in a Northern Town live. You should just go to YouTube, type in Life in a Northern Town country. I'm sure that epic recording, performance will come right up. So, apart from all these, let's see. He also played with bands on their albums like Supertramp, Paul McCartney, and many more. So, all right, a couple more clues. When you think of guitar players with amazing feel, this guy is probably the first guy you're going to think of. If not top 3, I don't know, top 2, something. So when people say, oh, he has so much feel, just like this guy, it's that guy. All right, depending on who you ask, he used to model a bit in his younger days. I've seen some, obviously I'm looking at the internet a lot in this, and some stuff I remember from magazines. One source said, no, he never modeled. One source said, yes, he did a bit, but he wasn't a professional model. I saw some quotes from him saying, yes, he did it. And he made more money in a day than he did in a week doing other stuff. So, yeah, he was a very handsome guy when he was young. So, props to him. Let's see. Any more clues I want to give? He's a licensed pilot and once owned an airline business. And no, this is not Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden. This is a guitarist we're obviously talking about. So, I think I've given you enough clues. The answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. David Gilmour. Pink Floyd, of course. He's played on plenty more albums and tracks besides what I just mentioned. But we are going to keep moving for now. All right, in the last video, we talked about a guitarist that played on Richard Marx's Repeat Offender album. I'm not going to say who that is in case you haven't seen that video. And again, links in the description below. People liked it. Seems to be a lot of fun. So our next guitarist here also played on a Richard Marx track. The 1987 hit, Don't Mean Nothing. which either that or Satisfied are like the first song I heard by Richard Marx ever as a young teenager. Great songs. So the guitar work from this guitarist, who you're going to try to deduce who it is, helped that song reach number 3 on the 87 Billboard charts for that time. So he played rhythm guitar and he even added some slide guitar. Yeah, I guess that's a hint. He's very well known for his slide guitar playing. Richard Marx said that Richard, wrote the main riff for the track, but this guy who we're talking about came in and added cool stuff later. He very much enjoyed working with him and said it was an absolute pleasure. Clues time! While he's definitely in one of the top 10 best known rock bands ever, especially in the 70s, he is not a founding member. That might help break it down. I already said he's known as a great slide player, and he's not an Allman Brother. Clue number 3. All right, this is going to be too easy. Give this man a stick of gum. I hope you all understand what that is. If you do, leave a comment and just say got it on this guy. I'd just like to know. So, answer in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The answer is, of course, Joe Walsh from the Eagles. My brother-in-law Ron actually kind of gave me the idea of using him in this video. I think he texted me after he saw my last video on this stuff. And I admit I didn't know about the Richard Marx thing and Joe Walsh, so pretty cool to find out. In fact, I can just hear it in my head now. Yeah, of course that's Joe Walsh. How could it not be? In addition to Richard Marx, Joe Walsh has also played on other albums of artists such as R.E.O. Speedwagon, Dan Fogelberg, Rick Derringer, who I also did a video on just last week. Check out the link in the description. Keith Moon, ELP, Randy Newman, and more. All right, it is time for the last guitarist in today's video. And this guy is every bit as iconic as the first 3 we mentioned. Probably even better known than the first 3, maybe. Like if you ask non-musicians, they all know this guy, I assure you. All right, I can't wait to get to the clue because I'm only giving you one. And if you don't know this, we'll get to that in a second. All right. So, yeah, we've had some heavy hitters so far. Let's see. Oh, yeah, this particular guitarist, the idea was given to me for this one, thanks to a YouTube comment on my last video. Thanks to Bill Graper for bringing this to my attention, because I actually did not know that this guitarist played on this track. That track is Phil Collins' 1989 hit, I Wish It Would Rain Down, which makes me, by the way, think of my, I guess, 8th or 9th grade bus rides to school. We always had Q102, Cincinnati's pop hit station, on. And I know I just associate that with going to school in the morning. So, again, he's one of the most famous guitarists ever. And he's still alive, as of this video. And I'm only giving one clue, and here's that clue. All right, the reason why I'm giving one clue is it's way too easy, and shame on you if you do not know who this is. If you don't know, I want you to fully embarrass yourself. You deserve to. And tell me in the comments, state your name, and we will mock you. I'm only kidding. We're not going to do that. But you should know this, though. So, that clue is, you are hearing him play in the movie Goodfellas, in the scene where they're finding all the bodies around town. And, yeah, like in this picture, that is, he's actually the actor who played Adam Sandler's brother in The Wedding Singer, isn't he? They found his body in the truck, all frozen. So, what music are you hearing during that scene in Goodfellas? I would hope that you can just feel it in your head. And clearly the answer, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The answer is Eric Clapton from Goodfellas. Well, what I meant is that scene from Goodfellas, you hear his guitar. And that is from, of course, Layla. You hear that awesome, the final movement of that track. And, yeah, pretty epic. All right, in addition to, you know, having played with Phil Collins on that track, he has done a lot of other work. The Beatles, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, that's Eric Clapton, playing lead guitar at the request of George Harrison. The internet said that, and I'm sure it's true, correct me if I'm wrong, that he is actually the only non-Beatle to ever play lead guitar on a Beatles studio track. Pretty sweet. Not a bad thing to put on your resume, huh? All right. He also played on Aretha Franklin's 1974 album, Let Me In Your Life. He played on the song, Ain't Nothing Like the Real Thing. Bob Dylan, Slow Train Comin', 1979 album. He played on a few tracks, including the gospel-inspired Gotta Serve Somebody. And Elton John, 1992 Runaway Train album. He was featured as a guest, vocals, and lead guitar throughout the album. Alright, that is it for this video. How did you do? Give me your score. Just let me know which ones you got right, which ones you got wrong. Tell me if you did not know about the Goodfellas thing. I'm only kidding about that. And then, let me know if you have any other cool information like this. I'm most certainly going to make a part 3. I can't wait. It's been a lot of fun. So, I hope you enjoy it. And as I like to say, get out of here. Okay, bye. See ya.